Rise and shine, everyone. Time now 6 o'clock here on your Tuesday morning. I almost said Monday. It is Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jason Hackett. Alicia has the morning off. Before we get to all of those headlines, let's get over to John in the backyard because we are climbing our way out of this cellar that we've been dwelling in.
Cellar. I like that. Nothing makes you feel warmer than that. It's true. This weekend was harsh. Yesterday was really perfect. Now here we go today. We're going to actually have our first day above freezing. So, look at the 40s out there. 34 in Alexandria. Now, the problem is you have so much rapid warmth pushing in on these cold temps. Sometimes you get this little area of drizzle. Now, the area of drizzle that I'm concerned with would be Wilmer and St. Cloud. Okay, so here's how drizzle works. You'll see it on your car. It's going to look like drizzle if you're freezing or above freezing. What is freezing drizzle? You have to be below freezing. So look at your temperature. If you see any of that, what looks like rain out there, but you're at 25 like St. Cloud, okay, yeah, that's freezing drizzle. But Ortonville, this is just plain old rain now. Temperatures above freezing already, but I am calling for a little freezing drizzle across central Minnesota. So again, Annandale, St. Cloud, and Wilmer. If you're leaving in the next hour, just be aware that there is maybe a couple of added slick spots. Nothing major. Again, in fact, most of us are doing just fine. But yes, that's the warm front nosing in here, a little bit of freezing drizzle. We're going to talk about the warmth. You know, we'll track out the warm temperatures today. And yes, we have a day where temperatures are going to actually bomb out. We'll go back to the cellar on Thursday. So we got a lot to talk about coming up in your forecast. Cece, how do the roads look?
Good morning, 6:02. Roads look pretty great this morning. There might be some frost on the roads, though, wherever you're waking up, so be careful about that. I have the cameras here in Lino Lakes because there was actually a vehicle off the road, but while John was talking, a tow truck pulled it away. This is 35E northbound at the Forest Lake Split or near it. So now that left lane is back open there as you make your way toward Columbus and the Forest Lake area. Shouldn't see any significant slowing in that area. And if you're coming from Wyoming or Columbus heading south on 35B or 35W towards 694, your commute should look great too. Zooming out so you can see your full map here. Things look great, crash free right now. I'll let you know if there are any other crashes just after 6:15.
All right, Cece, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Turning to our top story here at 6 a.m. Just hours ago, the Robbinsdale School Board voted to close 3 schools as they work through a multi-million-dollar budget deficit. So this is where they landed. Closing Robbinsdale Middle School, Noble and Sonneson Elementary, and the Educational Services Building. Lakeview and Neal Elementary are staying open. It was a pretty contentious debate with families as the board made their decision. Audrey Russo joins us live with more on that. Audrey.
Yeah, parents started walking out of the board meeting as soon as the votes to close each school were tallied. And this comes after hours of these parents speaking out about how this decision will impact their kids.
It is a choice, and it is a choice that places the greatest harm on the students with the least power.
So how did we get here? Well, a couple of factors. There's been a steep decline in student enrollment. There's outdated buildings that cost millions to maintain. Plus, an accounting error last year that left the district with a $21 million deficit. Now, the district already did historic layoffs to save money. Other ideas involved larger class sizes and downsizing transportation, but it was shrinking the school's physical footprint that ultimately went through. A new reaction this morning from the superintendent, who's now focused on preparing families for the new normal.
The way I think we move forward is to say, okay, what's the best of what we have here? How do we work on really strong transition plans for our staff, for our kids, for our families?
Yeah, and the board is not done yet. They're actually weighing the closure of another school in the district. I'll tell you when that vote is happening, coming up in 30 minutes. Back to you.
All right, Audrey, we will talk to you soon. Thank you very much for that update. We're also tracking uncertainty in the state's largest school district. Tomorrow, 3,200 Anoka Hennepin teachers begin a 4-day vote on whether to authorize a strike. They've been working without a contract since June. Union leaders say rising healthcare costs are the biggest sticking point in their negotiations with the district. They could walk off the job just after the new year. Right now, an alleged St. Paul murder suspect is on the run, potentially on his way to Mexico. According to charging documents, 33-year-old Wesley Coboy killed the mother of his children last week and then took the kids to Michigan to, quote, celebrate Christmas. Police say a woman called 911 saying her granddaughter told her that her father shot her mother. Documents say the girl told police she heard a thud like someone falling to the floor. Court documents also say Koboy dropped his children at his mother's house in Michigan and then crossed the border into Canada and booked a flight to Mexico. It's not clear where he is this morning. This morning, another manhunt is underway for the gunman accused of killing 2 people and injuring 9 others in a shooting at Brown University over the weekend. Take a look at your screen right now. Officials released these new photos and videos of a person of interest. Providence police say the images were taken about 2 hours before Saturday's shooting. The FBI is now offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to the ID, arrest, and conviction of the gunman.
This is a very active investigation, very complex investigation, and it's the dedicated work of the men and women of the Providence Police Department, the Detective Division, the Community Response Team, the Special Response Team. It's all hands on deck, and there's no one that wants to put this individual in handcuffs than us.
Police detained a man over the weekend but released him because they said the evidence no longer supported holding him. The son of legendary actor, director Rob Reiner could make his first court appearance today. That's according to NBC. Nick Reiner is in jail accused of murdering his father and mother. The district attorney's office is expected to file charges in the case in just a few hours. If that happens, the 32-year-old will then appear before a judge. Now, Nick Reiner has a long history with drug addiction, which he said began in his teens. According to sources, he had been living with his parents on and off. The 3 of them attended a Hollywood party on Saturday night, where sources say Nick was behaving in a way that concerned his parents. Rob and his wife Michelle were found the next day in their home with stab wounds. Nick was arrested hours later. Time now 6:07. We are live from our nation's capital as Congress races against the clock. Millions of Americans right now facing skyrocketing health care premiums as Affordable Care Act subsidies are set to expire soon. However, leaders on both sides of the aisle are at a standstill. Democrats want a 3-year extension, while Republicans want a floor vote on a plan that lets them expire. A floor vote is expected to happen later today. We have new Toys for Tots numbers from the Marines this morning. They tell us they are less than halfway to their goal of 230,000 toys for kids in the Twin Cities this holiday. They're still hoping to make it. Ken Erdahl shares a little boost they got from an anonymous donor.
Let me tell you about one of the funkiest Toys for Tots donations I've seen so far. Hundreds of Funko Pop figures suddenly showed up at the Toys for Tots warehouse in Minnesota. The Marines, they didn't flinch though. In fact, they say they actually fill a pretty big need. Now, the donation came from the Little Shop of Treasures in Hastings, which hosted its first toy drive this year and took a donation of 200 Funko Pop figures from an unknown person. Now, the pop culture collectibles aren't a typical donation, but the Marines say they're popular with older kids who are hard to shop for. In fact, this year, they've been so short on toys for those kids ages 11 to 15 that they've had to send Marines on shopping trips just to fill some of that need. So they would like to salute whoever decided to donate that massive collection.
That is really cool. What an awesome donation by that anonymous donor. So we're going to be collecting new unwrapped toys at our studio here in Golden Valley until Thursday. Our tent hours are from 8 to 8. Head on over to KARE11.com/toysfortots for other ways that you can help. Keep those donations rolling in. Let's meet that goal this year.